Well, the first time we played Philadelphia, a guy named Joe Hardcore contacted the band, and I guess this might have been around the time, maybe around '98 or '99, and we had an EP out called Out of Misery, and it's like at that time, you make a demo or you make a little CD, and it kind of makes its way around. You get a little buzz, and next thing you know, you kind of start hearing from people, and he hit us up, and obviously, I'm sure I'm not the only one going to be talking about Joe on this thing. He's quite a character, and just the fact, like, that was like, for us, it was like, we felt like we had some credibility because a dude named Joe Hardcore's feeling you, and we were like a metal band, so we're like, all right, so we got a little scene cred. And he brought us up. I forget where we the first time we played, but he brought us up a couple times, and it was like small group of kids, but people were into it, and the one thing about Philly, especially like playing, I think it was Stalag 13. Was one of the first places we played. Those places sucked. I'm gonna be honest, man. We to be honest, I think to really appreciate those types of venues, you kind of had to really have that punk rock type of mentality, and we were never really that band. Our stuff was always really technical and crisp, and we needed like proper equipment to hear what we were doing and all that stuff. So that was kind of.
I don't know what's happening.
What we did was kind of lost, I think, in those environments. Even though obviously you had to play those shows, and you were happy to get exposure any way you can. You're happy to kind of branch out of our home area, which was New Jersey. And even though it wasn't that far, it was to us when you never leave your home area is a big thing. It was another guy, this guy named Alexander T. used to do shows out of his garage. So we actually played. So we called him up to get on this show, and it was with Burn the Priest, who later became Lamb of God. But I had like the Burn the Priest 7-inch on tape that my buddy made a tape for me, and I was like, yo, we found out they were playing, like, yo, we gotta play with this band. So we hit him, like, yo, let's play the show. We went to play the show, and I was in this band at the time. They were called. Actually, they might have been the Luddite Clone. And we played the show. I think there was one person paid, and it was amazing though. Like, it was basically the bands watching the other bands, and every band was killer. And it was the.
Yeah. You can walk by.
All right. Good, definitely. So we showed up to play this show, no one there, but we basically accomplished our mission, was to play with this band. We loved it, and we traded CDs, and we became like pen pals and stuff, and formed like a bond, And within like a year, all three of the bands were signed. Lamb of God, and they changed their Lamb of God to sound Metal Blade or Prosthetic. We signed with Central Media, and Luddite Clone signed with Relapse. And it was interesting to see how stuff had this really humble beginnings, and everyone was in it just for the love of it, and developing a legitimate phenomenon, cultural, musical movement. Played in Ben Salem. We actually had a killer show there. And this was the thing about Life Was Lost that was interesting, was that they had so many different kind of versions of their sound. It was like they started out, and I guess they were kind of like inspired by like Dillinger and like kind of mathy stuff and noisy stuff. And that's what we did this show with them, and like I think it was For the Love Of, and let's play that show. I was like Torn Apart. So I forget who by the headline. It was a really cool show at that Blanket Park place, and Life Was Lost. And I remember every time we come, and so I know Bob would book. One of the smart things about booking shows was you book shows so you can get your band on good shows. So every time we come through, we play with Life Was Lost, and every time we come through, they have like a different set. Like and then they kind of really evolved over the years and became this really incredible band. So it's interesting to see guys. When you first see them, be at a certain level and then really dedicate themselves and make a lot of progress, in a short amount of time. Strength for a Reason guys, they were really cool. Turmoil, was a band that probably at that time, probably my favorite band that was purely a hardcore band. You know, you couldn't. You know, I'm definitely a metal guy. You know, and the process of was probably my favorite hardcore album of all time. And it sucked because like right when that came out, they broke up or kind of fell apart like right when the album came out. And that was really disappointing. I remember actually a really interesting story. So one time we played at CC's in Music, and I think this was 98 or 99, and we got on this show with All Out War and Buried Alive, and it was really significant because we met, Buried Alive, never heard of them. You just walked in and was just like completely blown. It was like 30 people at the show, but this band just sounded good. The only thing about CC's, the sound was really good. Like people, at least for that time, to me it sounded good. And it was unbelievable. Got to meet those guys, and ended up, obviously, Scott being in Terror, and having a long, kind of friendship with those guys. And All Out War, I think, was a really, even now, like I listen to like the, For Those Who Are Crucified is still kind of like, still sounds awesome. Like it was one of those kind of, a band that maybe might not get credit for like being one of the first like true modern metal bands. And then Andy from Every Time I Die was doing merch for Buried Alive. So that was the day I met Andy, and I was like, remember, but that's, that thing, you're 18, 19, or you just 20 people showing you. By the end of the day, like half the people because you're just, the social interaction is just as important as.
Do you remember the Club CC's? Like, have you been there a lot, or did you just go there?
We played there maybe three or four times.
Do you have any memories of the club itself? There's a lot of people have talked about.
I mean, it was one of. I remember like calling up the owner, and he would like never remember us. Like, he'd be like, God forbid, are you hardcore? You hardcore? He would never remember us. What it was. The thing that was cool about it is he would like, you could cold call him and he would book you. Basically, like you'd send a demo or whatever. And and so we went and we played like I think like a local show the first time, and it was cool because like we were doing something a little different. So the few amount of people that were there. I remember actually here's what we wrote a new song, and we played it at the beginning of the set, and then more people showed up. So then we played the song again because we liked our new song so much. I remember that was the first time we played there.
I interviewed him. That's Vince. He's amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, that was cool. Is like a place where you didn't have to be well known or have a connection or know this guy. They would book you and like put you on shows, and if you kind of went and people kind of dug you, it was cool. I mean, we were hustlers though. I mean, we would just call. You would go on like the East Coast Hardcore website, see all the shows like where they were having shows, and just email people, call people, go on, that was back when we had like the hardcore chat rooms, and you'd like talk to people, meet people off there. Pennsylvania, like our bass player lives in Pennsylvania, like so we were actually a good portion of the Gothbrick records were written in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. So it's still kind of almost we're like almost halfway a PA band,